Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Super excited today to welcome back my friend Ken from Sledgehammer Horror. Ken, how are you, sir?
Dude, amazing now. Very glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for coming back. You were on, gosh, I feel like it's been forever. I think it was back in October when you came on and we talked about the first Child's Play.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so glad to have you back. I always feel, I say always, it's only the second time now that you've been on, but I feel a little intimidated because you're big time, man. Like you're the one that
No,
we're all
not
starting
at
to be
all,
like.
dude. Not at all, man. I'm another guy just like you, man, that's doing something that he loves as a passion. So
Yeah.
the fact that I get the chance to hang out with my friends and talk about horror movies is just an honor to me, man. So it really means a lot being able to be here.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm sure anybody that's familiar with my channel already knows who you are, but just in case they don't, take a minute to promote what you have going on, anything you've got coming up.
Yeah. So we're Sledgehammer Horror, Ashley and I. Husband and wife, we've been together for 21 years now. We got coming up this next couple on Monday. We have the Kearns twins, Adeline and Ansley. They're going to be doing their My First Horror Movie on Poltergeist. And then Wednesday we have my Ken's top 10 scary moments from non-horror movies. Will be coming out on Wednesday. And then Friday is our review of Undertone, which I'm very excited. And one last thing I want to plug, guys, if you can make it out, my favorite event of the year is coming up on March 11th, and it's Maniac Madness. It's a March Madness style bracket done with horror icons. There are 32 horror icons on the bracket this year. So you can get this bracket by going to our community tab. You can also get it on any of our social media links. Fill out your bracket. It's already pre-filled in for the first round. Fill out your bracket and let's see how it matches up with Ashley and I. Because Ashley and I have our own separate brackets. I don't know her winner. She doesn't know my winner. This is our 5th year doing Maniac Madness. And it's my favorite thing we do on the channel. And it's live, so you guys can talk with us while we're doing it. Tell us who won your round and why. I just love doing Maniac Madness. So I hope to see you guys out there on March 11th.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check that out. I need to go fill out my bracket as well. You're killing it with the content, man. It blows my mind because I try to get 3 episodes out a week, and I feel like it takes everything I've got to do that. And then I watch, and you've got something new coming out like all the time. Like every day there's something popping up, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how Ken does it. I really don't know how he does it, but it's impressive because it's always good. I mean, it's not like you're just putting stuff out to put it out either. It's always good content. So,
well, thank you.
I'm impressed with what you do, man.
Well, I'm lucky, man, because I have a partner. You know what I mean? So if there's something that we're working on, and what we'll do is, if we both have a day off, we'll just film that whole day. Like, the whole day is a filming day.
Okay.
Just to, break the YouTube fourth wall here, our videos are edited, uploaded, and scheduled through April 27th right now.
Wow. Okay.
So, almost 2 months. It's just when we can hit that time, we just go. And we spend a whole day. Because on top of doing Sledgehammer Horror, we both have full-time 9-to-5s. And we're parents to 3 kids. We don't miss a football game. We don't miss a wrestling meet. We don't miss ballet. We don't miss dance. We don't miss a play. So it's very important to make sure you still have that balance. So I said, one day a week, we pound it, and then we just get to spend time with our friends. And, like this, one of my favorite things to do throughout the week is just doing guest spots and talking to people. And, I love doing this, man. So whenever we get invited on to do something like this, it's always an honor. I get to hang out with you and become a part of your world with your community. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And then, like I said, today, Ken and I are talking Child's Play 2. Ken is a huge fan of Chucky and the Child's Play franchise. I saw one of your posts. I don't remember what outlet it was on, but I saw you post a picture of the new Chucky doll.
Oh, dude, I want it so bad.
Yeah, me too. That looks so cool.
I was like, how the hell is this $500? What the fuck, man? I'm a huge Chucky fan, man. It's my favorite franchise. It's been my favorite franchise, and this is my second favorite in the franchise.
Wow.
So,
okay. Very cool.
I love this movie. I think when you want to talk about a sequel being better than an original and doing everything a little bit better, perfect example is Child's Play to Child's Play 2.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. So we'll get into that, but yeah, we'll go ahead, I guess, and jump right in and get started here. Tagline for the film was just "Sorry, Jack, Chucky's back,"
Yes,
which I
sir.
love. Brief synopsis: Chucky is reconstructed by a toy factory to dispel the negative publicity surrounding the doll. He tracks young Andy Barkley to her foster home, where the chase begins again. Film was released November 9th of 1990, directed by John Lathia, written, of course, by Don Mancini. Produced by David Kirshner, cinematography by Stefan Kasapsky, music by Graham Revel, distributed by Universal Pictures, 84-minute runtime, $13 million budget, 35.8 million at the box office. Just a few members of the cast: Alex Vincent, Christina Leese, Brad Dourif, Ed Gale, Garrett Graham, Jenny Guter, I believe is how you pronounce it, but I might be wrong. We'll stop there for a minute. And Ken, let me ask you your thoughts on cast and characters for this one.
Perfect. Perfect. They did something at the time, especially in 1990, that was super taboo. And they talked about, adoptive siblings. And,
Right.
I love the stuff with Andy and Kyle. Like, when they're downstairs and she lets him hit the cigarette.
Yeah.
They really had this, brother-sister thing going on.
Right.
And like I said, back then it was like an adoptive thing was not it wasn't like a mainstream thing. It was still kind of like a taboo type thing. And Don Mancini, being Don Mancini, was like, I'm gonna tackle this shit head on.
Yeah.
And I love their relationship. Even like when Kyle comes in the room and he's tied to the bed and she's like, how'd you do this?
Yeah.
I love I love the dynamic between them. One of my favorite kills in the whole franchise is in this movie, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Sure.
But it's actually probably my most effective kill of all time of any horror movie ever is in this movie, and I'll give a reason why when we get there. But
Yeah.
I wish there's so much about this movie that is just so perfect in a time capsule, like the abusive husband, like he's very verbally abusive, and the adoptive mother that won't step up and say what she's got to say. Yeah, this is just there's so much right with this movie, and you've been very naughty, Miss Kettlewell.
Yeah.
There's so many one-liners that I've used, like one that always comes to my mind, and it makes me laugh because nobody talks about this scene enough, and it just makes me laugh every time I see it. When Kyle steals the truck and she's driving, and she almost hits that dude, and he's like, "Crazy bitch!" Every time I watch it, dude, I laugh so hard at that part. Like that part is just genius to me. And then how's it hanging, Phil? Like the one-liners. It's just, this is a movie that I just think Don Mancini knew he wanted to focus more on Chucky in this movie, where Child's Play was Andy's movie. Yeah. Child's Play 2 is Chucky's movie.
Yeah.
And I think it works. It works really well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. One of the things you pointed out there that I agree 100% with was I too love the chemistry between Alex Vincent and Christina Leese here as Andy and Kyle, and I think it's so good. It reminds me, quite a while back I had my friends from Final Girls podcast on, Sarah and Kelly, and we were talking about in the first Jeepers Creepers movie how good that brother-sister combo was in that movie and how well those two fit together and that you believed that they were really brother and sister. And I think the chemistry here is just like that. I mean, yeah, it's a step-brother-sister thing, but it's so believable. Like it seems so real. Their chemistry is fantastic, and I love the way their relationship plays out in this. So I agree with you 100%. And yeah, I agree with what you said as well about this definitely being Chucky's movie. It's so good. But before we get into the actual plot, anything you want to point out as far as cinematography, score, story, that kind of thing that you like?
Oh, dude, is there a better third act in all of location wise than the Doll Factory?
Yeah, so good.
So good. What a great third act, man.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Chucky is in the house and it's storming and the lightning's going and Andy's hiding and you just see Chucky stalking through the house. And it's so brilliant and so good. And they make Chucky a 3-foot doll be just larger than life in this movie.
Yeah.
Or what about the scene when Andy when she's out and Kyle and
Yeah.
she's swinging and she kicks that good guy shoe and she
Yeah.
digs up the old good guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, like, man, I'm serious, man. I could talk about the impact this movie had on me all night. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those movies that I feel is so rewatchable, because it's not quite the perfect blend yet. I still think this is way more horror than it is horror comedy. Like, I think
I agree.
because 3 is my favorite in the franchise.
Okay.
And 3 to me is that perfect blend of horror and comedy. This one is still way more horror than it is comedy, but it does have this, like, where Child's Play didn't have much humor in it. Like, we always think about Chucky and funny. The first
Right.
Child's Play is not very much humor at all.
Right.
Like, very, very
Yeah.
little.
I agree.
Chucky starts to get some one-liners in this one. He starts
Yeah.
to have those little funny moments in this one. And I think this is where Chucky's personality really starts to show.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, well, this one's actually, it's funny. I think you said this was your second favorite.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and mention it now. This is actually my favorite in the franchise.
Hell yeah.
I love this one, and I think it's because it does still. Well, I like the humor and all that we get, especially later on in the franchise. I do think this one is still much more horror, and it had been a while. I mean, I've seen the movie multiple times, but it had been a while since I'd seen it, and so I watched it a couple of days ago to get ready for you and I to talk about it now. And I forgot. I mean, obviously, I know what's coming now, but there's some tension here. There's some
Oh,
legit
yeah.
horror moments in this movie that, if I didn't know what happened, I'm like, yeah, this could still scare me. Like, there's some good shit in this movie.
It holds up, man. Like, this
Yeah,
movie
it
really,
does.
and that's what I love about the whole Child's Play franchise. I don't think there's a movie that you watch it and it feels dated, because Don always wanted to stay away from the CGI. He always wanted to stay away from doing things with computers. He always wanted those animatronics. He always wanted the puppeteers. He always wanted the little people in costumes. And
Right.
I think that's why these movies still hold up and they're still visually pleasing to this day. Almost 40 years later.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Don Mancini, I think, is a genius. Actually, I think he is
Yeah.
so good at this. Just a couple of things real quick that I'll mention as far as production notes, behind the scenes type stuff before we actually get into the plot. So David Kirshner had actually asked Tom Holland to return as the director. Holland, however, declined due to some conflicts that he and Kirshner had on the first film. I don't know exactly what those conflicts were. Don't have to know, but yeah, it's interesting. There was another script at one point, just in case this first one didn't go over well, that had Andy actually in a mental institution rather than being in foster care. The original opening of the film was supposed to be a courtroom scene where a jury was going to sentence Karen Barkley to a mental institution for her continuing to stand by the story that this doll had done these things. Catherine Hicks and Chris Sarandon were both scheduled to return, but then declined once they discovered that Tom Holland was not going to be involved. The scene would later be recycled for Curse of Chucky in 2013. Also, a scene was going to be contained where Chucky's remains were going to be held in a police evidence locker, along with Jason's mask, Michael's mask, a few other things. That was also cut due to budgetary reasons, but reused in Bride of Chucky. And then Brad Dourif recorded all of his dialogue in advance, which made it then easier for Kevin Yeager, who returned to do special effects and puppetry, to get the mouth to actually line up. The fact that Dourif already had all of his stuff done. Just a few things there that I wanted to mention. But yeah, let's jump right in and get into the plot and walk through this a little bit. We open up 2 years after the events of the first film, with the Play Pals Corporation attempting to get away from this negative publicity, and they've acquired Chucky's remains and reassembled him. But we have an accident there where a power surge ends up killing one of the assembly line workers. We've learned that Karen Barkley has been institutionalized and Andy's in foster care. Give me your thoughts, Ken, on this opening scene and the way we start this off.
The opening to this scene is, I think that this first act is probably the weakest of the film.
I agree.
I don't know. It doesn't have the power of what the Act One of Child's Play did. With us seeing, Charles Lee Ray becoming Chucky,
Right.
or even Child's Play 3, where we see Chucky becoming reassembled, and I think that's when you see the blood go over the vat and stuff like that. But still, you're in for a wild ride right off the rip here, which is what I love. That's what I love about this movie is there's not really a slowing point once you start going.
Right, I agree. And that was really the only note I kind of made here about the opening scene was I felt like this is really the only, and I don't even want to say slow because I feel like the movie is paced incredibly well. But probably the weakest part of the movie here is this opening because nothing really stands out or jumps out at me as being fantastic. But we're just setting the stage and getting ready, and it's all uphill from here. As far
Right.
as I'm concerned, with how good everything goes. But um, we get then a shot of Andy visiting with his doctor a little bit. The CEO of the corporation, Haskell Sullivan, has ordered the doll to be disposed of, and so he sends it with one of his men to get rid of. We meet Phil and Joanne Simpson, who are going to foster Andy. We meet Kyle, another child that they have. We find out there's this good guy doll in Andy's room, whose name is Tommy. Um, Haskell's assistant, Madsen, ends up taking Chucky. And then we kind of get our first kill of the film where Chucky, uses the cell phone to find out where Andy's at and then forces Madsen to drive him there and then ends up suffocating him. Give me your thoughts on the introduction to all the characters that we get here and our first kill.
This is where, after we get that first kill, this is where it really starts to take off.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to set the stage for Chucky
Sure.
to find Andy, because at this point, Chucky he can only become human again through Andy.
Right.
Like that gets lost in the later entries of this franchise. But
Yeah.
the first, I miss a good Ade Dewey Dembele.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
and that, yeah, especially when we're watching this when we're younger, Andy's a peer to us then,
Right.
and that's what I love the most about it is the fact that we're watching this kid that is around our age at the time we're watching it for the first time. So he's really easy for us to get invested in, really easy for us to root for, because he's not an adult.
Right.
He knows what we know. We know what he knows.
Yeah.
And I think that that's another reason why, as a kid especially, I really gravitated into Child's Play, because not just Chucky, but Andy.
Right.
Andy was just like me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that's a good way to put it. A couple of things I wanted to ask you just about this scene here a little bit, and just to see if it bothered you at all. This does not take away from my enjoyment of the film at all. Did you think it was odd that these foster parents would forget that they had this good guy doll in there when they know everything that Andy's been through, and then for them to have that doll?
I honestly, and if you remember, like back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, you had to create other villains besides your villain.
Sure.
And I think that's what they were doing here. So that way, when the inevitable happens with them, you're not
Right.
upset about it.
Okay.
You remember, like, well, they had that good guy in that room. That dad's abusive. She
Yeah.
doesn't stick up for the kids.
Right.
They almost demonize. Because again, back then, adoption wasn't a big popular thing. Most of them were foster homes so they could get money, and they hurt the kids. They starved the kids.
Yeah.
So there was already an ill taste in your mouth for foster parents at this time anyway. So
Sure.
why don't we demonize them a little bit more to make it, when they are the inevitable meat bags, you don't feel
Right.
bad for them. You
Yeah,
look at
no.
Chucky is kind of in the right here
Yeah.
for doing
Yeah.
what he did.
Yeah, these are some kills you're on board with. Yeah, no, I completely
Right.
get that. I like the way you put that. I think that's good. First kill is nothing really special, like you said, but it's going to get so much better from here. And I just did like the interaction there with Chucky, like forcing Madsen to drive and things. And I will say here, I absolutely love Kyle. I think Kyle is such a great
Oh,
character.
MVP, man. And I just got to throw out real quick. Ashley and I got to meet Christy Elise. And Christine is like, dude, so kind with her time. And she was so sweet to Ashley and I both. And as somebody that was a lifelong fan of hers, that was such a validating experience to be
Yeah.
able to have a conversation with her and interview her in person. And it was such a monumental moment for me, because she's somebody I looked up to as a kid. I wanted a big sister like Kyle. Yeah, I was the
absolutely.
oldest. So I didn't have that mentor. So watching
Yeah.
it through the eyes of Andy, I wanted a Kyle in my life. I wanted a mentor that could let me smoke a cigarette on the dryer for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody wants an older sibling or cousin or something like. And I did have an older cousin that was my Kyle. His name's Josh, but it wasn't my brother. It wasn't my sister. So that to me is what made Kyle so special in this movie, is her immediate shielding of Andy, because she knows how Phil is.
Right.
So let me take you under my wing, Andy. Let me love you. Let me take care of you. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible for
No,
such a
I
young
agree, man.
lady, a teenager, to have that type of mental state in a movie like this.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm so glad you said that because I too was the oldest. I mean, I have three brothers, but I'm the oldest of four boys that my parents had.
Hmm.
And I was kind of in that same situation. I also had a cousin who was just a couple of years older than me. Her name was Robin. And she was my Kyle. I mean, again, she was a
Yep.
cousin, but I remember so many times, some of my favorite times as a kid was when we would go visit them and I would get to hang out with her and want to hang out with her and her friends. And back then, MTV was a big thing. I remember hanging out with her in her room and us watching MTV, and it just felt cool to have somebody older like that to kind of mentor me. So I 100% get what you're saying and agree with what you're saying. And Christine Elise is amazing. I haven't got to meet her. I hope that I do get that privilege at some point, but I think she's fantastic as Kyle.
If she's doing a convention near you, can't recommend it enough, dude. She treats everybody with the utmost respect. She is very kind with her time. You can tell she's there for the right reason.
Got
She's
it.
not one of those people that are like, all right, sign, go. All right,
Yeah.
sign, go. She will genuinely talk with you and have a real conversation. We talked about her love of horror. We talked about politics. We talked about the landscape of Detroit because that's where we were at, my city. And
Yeah.
we just had a really, really nice conversation. It was probably about a 10 to 15-minute conversation off camera,
Sure.
and the respect that she showed me, the respect that she showed Ashley. She has a lifelong fan in us. Like,
That is
that's
awesome.
just how incredible she is.
Very awesome. Glad to hear that. And I remember when not to get off and talk about that, but when the Chucky TV series was going on, when she first popped up on that, I was so excited that she was back in the
Hmm.
TV series like that. So cool. Um, so yeah, Chucky then ends up basically sneaking into the home. He destroys this Tommy doll and buries it over by the swings. He destroys it with this antique heirloom that we've seen Andy have a little bit of interaction with in the past. Phil then ends up grounding both Andy and Kyle because he believes it was one of them that broke the heirloom. That night, Chucky reveals himself to Andy, ties him up, and is trying to do his voodoo ritual before Kyle comes in and interrupts. Phil and Joanne also then enter and blame Kyle for Andy being in the situation that he's in. Phil throws Chucky down in the basement, and we see that Chucky has got a nosebleed and realizing he doesn't have long to get this done. Give me your thoughts here. I will say I really enjoy this scene because we get some of that time between Kyle and Andy, like you were talking about. We see Phil being the asshole and doing his thing. Um, I forgot how quickly, until I rewatched this the other day, I forgot how quickly Chucky reveals himself to Andy. Like that did not take long. He jumped right in and was ready to get this thing going. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
your thoughts on any of this? Anything stand out?
Well, okay, so I think again, this is the mental torture of Chucky. Like, I'm still here, Andy, and no
Yeah,
one's gonna believe you. you
right.
know. So he's going to
Yeah,
try to beat him down mentally before he takes him physically. And he already knows, I've already beat you, Andy.
yeah,
Nobody believes you. Nobody believes that I'm real. So
yeah,
here I am. I'm Tommy. Want to
yeah,
play? You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it
It's
makes him
so
look even crazier again to everybody.
yeah, it's so funny, and it's so when you mentioned that I'm Tommy want to play, it's so funny to me because when I started watching this movie the other day, it was right about this scene I think that I had gotten to, and I got a phone call, and so I still had the movie on. I ended up having to pause it and go back, but I was talking on the phone with somebody for a minute, and that's all they heard was the hi I'm Tommy want to play. They heard that, and then they're like. You're watching Chucky, and this is a person that's not even like really a horror fan that I was talking to on the
Right.
phone for a minute, but they knew that line. Like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
It's so iconic.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that, and this is something that I'll die on the hill on. Up until maybe a couple years ago with Art the Clown, possibly, I still think Chucky is the most recognizable horror icon of all time. Everybody knows Chucky.
Yeah.
People, I think that the top three at the moment right now would probably be Chucky, Ghostface, and Art the Clown. But non-horror people, they don't know the difference between Freddy or between Jason and Michael.
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Every single person knows who Chucky is.
Yeah.
They know the Chucky doll.
Yeah. Very true.
And so, like, he's an icon in his own status.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm curious. I kind of have a feeling I know your answer, but I'm just curious. I hear people talk a lot about the big three in horror as being like Jason, um, Freddie, and Michael as being that big three. And then there's, kind of like for a Mount Rushmore, who do you think is four? I don't know if you agree that they are the big three, but would you consider Chucky number four?
I would consider Chucky number one.
Number one? Okay.
For me, it would. And this is just listen. This is not anything in stone. This is Ken's Mount Rushmore of horror icons. It
Okay.
goes Chucky, Jason, Freddy, and the most powerful villain of all time that has a dog shit franchise behind him, Pinhead.
Okay.
Love
Wow.
Pinhead.
I
I think
like that. Yeah.
Pinhead is. I think that what he embodies, and Hellraiser 1, and I know I get a lot of shit for this. Hellraiser 1 and 2 are masterpieces. So is Hellraiser 4. Oh, that's the one in space. Fucking please watch the movie. Please watch the movie. Have you seen Hellraiser 4? Bloodlines?
I've seen it once a long time ago.
Oh, I implore everybody to watch that movie again. That movie has everything. It's the past, it's the present, it's the future. Like, it is so well written. I get so much enjoyment, and it has everything going against it. It's in space. It's called Bloodlines. Like, there's so many things going against Hellraiser 4. It's my second favorite in the franchise. It goes 2,
Wow.
1, 4, garbage, 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 garbage.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I plan on, it's funny you bring that up because I'm gonna try to go through the Hellraiser franchise as well.
Oh, good luck, my friend. If you need emotional support, you got my phone number. If you need to call someone and you need some help with what you're going through, I'll be there for you, buddy.
I appreciate that. Bo from Critic After Dark, he and I did the first Hellraiser movie a while back, and then he's had a lot going on and hasn't been able to come back on. I'm not sure when he's going to, but yeah, at some point he and I are going to try to tackle that franchise. But yeah, it's going to be a rough road. I have a feeling after we get through a few.
Yeah.
All right. The next day, Chucky is able to sneak on the bus that's taking Andy to school. He gets a hold of Andy's paperwork or schoolwork and writes "fuck you, bitch" on there, which ends up getting Andy in trouble and causing Andy to get detention. Um, Andy does find Chucky there at the school, but the teacher just throws Chucky in a closet. Andy ends up climbing out the window, and then we get a classic scene, such a great scene, where Chucky stabs the teacher with the air pump and then beats her with a yardstick. Andy tries to tell his parents about it, but they don't really believe him. And when they go to look, Chucky is back in the basement again. Phil seems to want to just send Andy back to foster care at this point. Yeah, this scene with Chucky and the teacher, so amazing. Such a great scene. Give me your thoughts here.
Okay, look. As a kid, loved this whole thing. Okay? Now, as Ken Sledge, the 40-year-old man, who the fuck is going to look at that "fuck you, bitch" and think that a kid Andy's age wrote that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at it like that's clearly not a child's handwriting.
Yeah.
But as a kid, again, and I think you should be very respectful if you're in school to your teachers. I think you should be very respectful to people that are older than you, that have gone through more things that you have gone through, that have had a deeper understanding of life. But fuck that. Ken as a kid was like, hell yeah, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, little kid Ken was like, I feel ya.
Yes.
And yeah, like, it's a great scene. And with every shot of the yardstick, we're panning out a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit more. And it's just, it's cinema, baby. Like, that is cinema. And I adore this kill. Even when he jumps out and hits her with the ball pump to the chest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's so good. And at this point, you're kind of like, Chucky's sticking up for Andy, but then you realize he's framing him.
Yeah, exactly.
But a part of you's like, yeah, go Chucky. Miss Kettlewell's like, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? But like, I'm talking about as a kid watching this movie versus my perspective as an adult. But as a kid, we don't understand that our teachers just want what's best for us.
Sure.
They're mean and they're making us do work.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I love the direction that part took as a kid. As an adult, I watched it and I'm like, okay, Mrs. Kettlewell, how in the hell do you think that little Andy wrote that good? You know what I mean? Like,
No, that you're completely right, but it's still such an amazing scene. I mean,
Oh,
when I
so
was
good.
watching this the other day and I got to this scene, I mean, I think I just sat there with the biggest smile on my face because I just love this
Yeah.
scene so much. It's so good. Um, and yeah, then we get, then Chucky's back in the basement. Like he gets back in the basement to continue the setup here and do things the way he's doing them. This next little group here that I want to talk about, here's where I was mentioning earlier. I really feel like there's some legit tension here. There's some legit horror here in this next coming part because Andy gets this electric knife and he goes down to the basement to kill Chucky and he's looking around for Chucky down there and I feel like I feel that tension even now. I've seen this multiple times and Phil arrives and Chucky trips him up and then causes Phil to fall and break his neck and Joanne comes in and blames Andy, ends up sending him back to the center and then we get the other scene where you're talking about where Kyle throws Chucky in the trash can, and then she's swinging. She uncovers the Tommy doll, and Chucky's now gone from the trash until we've got Kyle going, and she's realizing that Chucky's alive, and she finds Joanne dead. Uh, Chucky ambushes Kyle and kind of has a battle with her, and then forces her to drive him to the foster center. We get the really fun scene in the middle of this where the cop pulls Kyle over. And we're dealing with that a little bit. Another a fun scene through there, and Kyle almost escaped. She throws Chucky through a windshield, but tries to run over him. He gets to her again. But yeah, let's just kind of go back and talk about all of this stuff here that's going on because I feel like there's horror here. I feel like there's some legit tension in these scenes still. When I was watching it the other day, I'm like, damn, if I'd never seen this would be scary. And I still feel the tension, even though I know what's coming. So I think there's some great scenes here. There's some good horror here, but we're mixed in with the fun as well. I mean, you wanted to see the dad get it at this point. You were ready for that to happen to him. And again, the scene with where the cop pulls over Kyle and Chucky is fun. But yeah, give me your thoughts here on all of this that's happening.
You're always going to laugh at that moment.
Yeah,
Oh, it's one of those good guy dolls. What's your name? Chucky.
Okay.
Like Chucky
So
just doesn't give a shit anymore. He's like, dude,
yeah,
I've got better shit to do than this. And again, it's just that dry type of humor at this
yeah,
point. But it's still, like you said, there's still that fear. Like, don't you say a fucking word. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I just love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Do you still feel? I don't know how long it's been since you've watched this, but the scene where Andy's looking around in the basement for Chucky, and then even the scene where Kyle figures out what's going on. She's uncovered Tommy, and Chucky's not on the trash can anymore. Do you still feel
Well,
the tension in those scenes?
oh well, right after that is that part where you get Chucky in the kitchen that I was talking about with the
Yes.
flashing and you see the shadows. Like that's great,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
that is absolute tension right there, and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love that whole series of events right there.
Yeah.
So good,
I
so well,
completely
because
agree.
it's almost like gothic aesthetic of the lightning and the shadows and the
Yeah.
the camera fading out to
Yeah.
see just the shadow walking. And yeah, like Don Mancini, like they really, he hadn't taken over yet, but he was always on set for these things. So I mean, like
Right.
that they were planning these meticulously, and it worked so well for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just fantastic stuff here. From there, Kyle and Chucky now are at the foster center, and they set the alarm off. Um, Grace, the foster center manager, comes down with Andy, and of course, then Chucky ends up killing her as well. He captures Andy, ends up jumping on this newspaper truck to get away, but Kyle follows them to the Play Pal factory. Chucky is able to complete his voodoo ritual, but it doesn't work out, and because he's been in the doll too long, and so now Chucky realizes that he's trapped in this doll permanently. Um, we talked for a minute there at the beginning about the Play Pal factory and this setup here for this scene, the final act of the movie. But getting there, when they're at the foster center, Chucky killing the center manager and completing his ritual and it not working. Uh, Anything here you want to mention or talk about?
It's just one of those things where it's like you almost feel bad for Chucky at this point.
Yeah, when the ritual
When he
doesn't
starts
work.
screaming and he's yelling, "I've been in this fucking body too long," like you
Yeah,
almost feel bad for him. Like, you missed your chance. But then
yeah,
another part of you's like, what's he gonna do with Andy now? He
right.
doesn't need him anymore.
Yeah,
Because you always felt a certain safety towards Andy. just for the sheer fact that Chucky needs him. Sure, he's going to play with him. You know,
Right, but he
he's
doesn't
you
want
know
to
he's
kill him. Yeah,
right. He's a serial killer. He likes to play with his food. You know what I mean? Like he
sure.
likes the thrill of the chase.
Right,
That's part of what gets Charles Lee Ray off. But he's not
right.
going to kill him because he needs him. He needs that body. So he wants to break him down and mentally drain him before he takes him over. And I think that that's a big part of what made Chucky Chucky. Is yeah, he wants to kill the kid, but he can't. And that
Right.
almost is that juxtaposition inside of him. You
Yeah.
know, I want so bad to kill this fucking kid, but I can't because I need him, and I don't want to be in this fucking good guy forever. And
Yeah.
now he can't leave the good guy. So what direction can we possibly go now?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah, and I get what you're saying as well because I do remember. Uh, I don't remember a lot of my initial reaction the first time I watched this movie. I know how much I loved it the other day, but I remember the first time I saw the film and thinking once Chucky realizes he can't complete his ritual, thinking, "Oh shit, he's gonna kill Andy now." Like he doesn't need
Mm-hmm.
Andy anymore. Like he's gonna try to kill Andy now. He's not just gonna use him anymore. He's gonna kill him. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to look at it. And of course, Kyle's trying to help Andy escape. Again, here I think there was another great scene where that tension is happening. As they're we get the whole chase through the factory and the maze of dolls, which I was a little confused by because I remember in the beginning of the film there, back when we get back to the CEO of the company and this electric accident happens and somebody gets killed. He kind of wants everything shut down. Like he just wants this all stopped. It doesn't look like this is stopping. Like they're still manufacturing dolls. Like they didn't put a stop to it like he asked. But I was just like, well, okay. But I mean, still, they've got the chase going on. Tons of dolls in there. This huge maze of dolls. This assembly line. There's a scene where they're trying to climb up this rail, and Andy's having a hard time getting it up there, and Chucky's behind him. Again, I thought there was great tension here. They managed to close Chucky's hand in this gate. He just rips his hand off and makes a knife out of his hand, which is a great scene. Um, we do get one more little kill of a factory worker that happens to be down there that Chucky kills, um, and then we just kind of have this battle going on between Kyle and Chucky or Kyle and Andy and Chucky, where they mutilate him with different parts on the assembly line. Andy dumps this hot plastic on him, and it gets kind of halfway melted down to where it's just the top half of his body before he tries to get one more attack in, and Kyle shoves the air hose there in his mouth to finish him off. But yeah, just give me your thoughts on the finale, the whole chase through the factory here, all the things that are going on. We talked about how much of a great setup this is, but give me your thoughts through this whole final act.
The technician kill is the best kill in the history of horror to me. And the reason why this is the most effective kill in the world to me is because when I was a kid, I used to have nightmares of that technician chasing me with Chucky eyeballs.
Oh wow,
Like
okay.
dead serious, dead serious. Like that shit. Like for a lot of people, it was just funny. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah,
Sure.
technician with the eyeballs. That fucked me up as a kid, dude. Like that kill really, really, really fucked me up.
Wow, okay.
Like I said, I would have nightmares about that
Yeah,
technician with those big eyes chasing me. It was something with eyeballs, man, because Judge Doom or Judge, yeah, and
yeah.
Roger,
Roger
he
Rabbit, yeah.
looked like this. Like that shit messed me up too. So it's just like I give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Sure, no,
Bella, go
you're
to your
good, man.
cage. Go to your cage, Bella. It really, really scared me as a kid to see this scene.
Yeah,
And right before it, I see Chucky ripping his hand off, and then
yeah.
putting the knife in it right before he
Right.
swipes at him. I still think, like I said, when it comes to best third acts ever, this is up there. I still think that three has a better third act, but this one still is it's top 10 all time for me of third acts.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And one of the things I like too here is because now Chucky's been in this doll so long and he can't quite get out of it. Some of the things that have happened to Chucky in the first film and up to this point, I mean, he's turning human, right? He's still feeling things, but not to the degree that he does now. And so now when
Right.
he's having to rip his hand off and he's screaming in pain, and then even when he shoves the knife down, into his arm there to make that his hand, and he's screaming in pain.
Yeah.
This is a different Chucky now. Like he's feeling all this at the same time, and I think that somewhat gets overlooked a little bit because I don't hear people really talk about that side of it. But yeah, just
Well, because it also makes him angry.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, like not only is he feeling the pain, he's pissed about it too.
Yeah, yeah. And now he can, now he just wants, like we said, he just wants to kill Andy. So he's in pain. The anger is building. His whole plan's been ruined. He just wants to kill these two kids. I mean, that's really all. And he's trying to do anything he can to get there before they're finally able to finish him off there with the air pump. So I agree with you. I think this is one of the best third acts in horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of why this is my so many reasons that this is my favorite in the franchise, but this third act has a lot to do with it. Yeah, I just think it's incredible.
I could never argue with anybody that tells me Child's Play 2 is their favorite. You know what I mean? Like if someone wants to tell me, hey, Child's Play 2 is my favorite in this franchise, really any movie, if anybody's like, with the exception of Seed of Chucky, which I still think is a fine movie. But if anybody tells me, hey, part one's my favorite, part two, part three, Bride, I get it. I understand. I think that when it comes to the third act, this one is top 10. When it comes to third act location, it's number one. This is number one. You're getting chased by a killer doll in a doll factory of that doll.
Yeah.
That's genius. Like, that's so genius. And for some reason, that's the only toy they make in this whole factory. It's just the good guy now. It doesn't matter that they could be like Hasbro or they have a bunch of different types. No, it's just the good guy, man. We got a whole factory dedicated to just him.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I agree. Yeah,
Brilliant.
It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Before we try to rate this movie, anything else that we haven't covered that you want to mention, or anything else you want to say about this movie?
Wait, can we just talk about how fantastic it is when his head blows up?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is fantastic. And I forgot. I mean, I knew that happened. I forgot how much I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's a great scene. Great scene.
Like he almost looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid, and then he explodes. You know,
it reminds me of the. I'm sure you've seen Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the guy that blows up and explodes in Big Trouble in Little China? That's what this reminds me of.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but yeah, it is. It's a fantastic scene. I don't remember. I'm sure I've got it in notes somewhere. I don't remember what you rated the first one. But on a scale of 1 to 10, Ken, what would you give Child's Play 2?
I'm going to say a 7.5.
Okay.
7.5, 8, I think would be fine. It's that damn good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this movie, that's what I could say about it. I think when it comes to just like a horror trilogy of just 3 straight movies, the first 3 Child's Plays, if you would have stopped there, it would be my favorite horror trilogy of all time. There's very few flaws in the first 3, and to me, it just comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I think if you're more of a full-on, I want my horror and that's it, then part 1's the movie for you. If you're like, I need a little bit of levity to help me get through this type of thing, part 2 is going to be the one for you. If you're like me, where horror comedy is your favorite subgenre, part 3 is probably going to be the one for you because the horror is definitely still there. The comedy's there. It's got a great love story. I do want to throw my name in the hat of if you are going to do Child's Play 3, I would like to be involved in talking about that one too.
Yeah, actually, now that you mentioned that, I know you're incredibly busy, but, I recently had Brendan and Sam from Our Life in Horror. They went through the entire Scream franchise with me. Rob and Kaylee from that horror couple, they are going through both the Halloween franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise with me. I was going to see if you wanted to go through all of.
Let's do it. I'm in. 100% committed. Right, we'll map it out. We'll get the perfect dates. Because I really, really want to be involved in that because that's just how much I absolutely love these movies. Okay. Like I said, even like everybody's like, "Oh, Seed of Chucky's garbage." I'm like, "Hey, man, like it's still a good movie. Like, it's not as strong as the other ones.
Right.
Some of the best kills in the whole franchise are in Seed of Chucky."
That's true. Yeah, because it's probably
like you get John
in the franchise, but there's good.
John Waters getting his face melted, Redman getting eviscerated. Yeah. Jennifer Tilly is still fucking fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. Hilarious. A little too meta for me. Sure, I could deal without the Britney Spears getting ran off the road garbage.
Yeah,
but it's a perfect time capsule for that moment. You watch back and Chucky with, "Oops, I did it again." I still love Seed of Chucky. It's again least favorite in the franchise, but the way I look at it, if you've made this amount of movies and your worst movie is Seed of Chucky, you've done something right to me.
Oh yeah,
You know.
absolutely. I completely agree. I
So
think
yeah,
for
I
me,
would absolutely love to talk about the whole franchise with you. Absolutely,
I'm
it'd be an
excited.
honor.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I think for me, I gave the first Child's Play. I think I ranked it a little higher than you did. For some reason, I was thinking you were around a 7. I could be wrong. I gave it an 8 because I really loved that first movie. But this second one to me, like I said, this is my favorite in a franchise that I love. I don't have any problems or flaws with this film at all. Uh, Child's Play 2 is a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely
Ooh.
love everything about this movie. I think it's fantastic. It's like I said, it's my favorite in this whole franchise. I can watch it again and again. It's scary. It's funny. We're getting more of Chucky's personality. There's some good kills. The final act in this setting is fantastic. I love everything about this movie. And so yeah, Child's Play 2 is the one in the franchise that's a 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, next week, guy, or when next time we hang out, we'll talk about my 9.5 out of 10. Because there's one glaring problem I have with Child's Play 3 that I think could have made it better. You have to tune in for the next one to hear about it, because it's a deep dive into what I think. And I'll talk to Sean about it after we're done recording. But there's one big flaw I think could have made that movie the perfect movie.
Very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. And so yeah, I'll definitely will find the right date and get you back on. Hopefully, I feel like I mean, I know you're incredibly busy, and my schedule's been pretty hectic. I think we did Child's Play 1 in October. Hopefully, we won't wait another 4 or 5 months to do Child's Play 3, but we'll get it
Right.
mapped out and figure it out and get back on and talk Child's Play 3. But yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you so much again, Ken, for coming on. I really do appreciate it. It's an honor to have you on my channel. So thank you, sir.
Dude, literally anytime. This was awesome. I love, dude. If you want to talk about Child's Play, we could talk all day. Like I'm totally in, man.
Sounds good. Before we get off here, you want to take a minute to go ahead and mention your channel one more time and some stuff you've got coming up?
Yeah, Sledgehammer Horror. You can find us on all social medias at Sledgehammer Horror, Twitter at Sledgehammer Horror HOR, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the whatever the kids are on nowadays. Yeah, and like I said, we do My First Horror Movie, where we talk to guests about the first horror movie they watched and what it meant to them. We do Didn't See That Coming, which will be making a comeback very soon, where we talk about movies with twist endings. In Defense Of, where we defend movies that aren't universally loved in the genre. We do live episodes once a week. We do top 10 rankings, movie reviews. If there's something horror to be done, we want to do it. So, yeah, just follow us, subscribe, come join the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Again, I feel like anybody that knows my channel probably is already familiar, but just in case they're not, definitely go check out Sledgehammer Horror. Always
Appreciate
great
it, man.
content on there. Such good stuff. Let me see what I've got coming next week. I know I've got an episode coming on Return of the Living Dead, another classic that I'm going to be talking about next week. Also, Rob from Slasher Radio will be back on with me next week. We are going to be talking about the Town That Dreaded Sundown sequel. He came on a while back, and we talked about the original. So we're going to talk about that sequel. And then, of course, yes, Rob and Kaylee from That Horror Couple, they're going to come back on, and we are going to talk about Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2. So
never heard of That Horror Couple. Rob and Kaylee, you said? I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, no idea. Yeah, they're they're pretty good. Kaylee's smart, and Rob's funny. So yeah, that's the way I look at it.
I love them so much, dude.
Yeah,
like I
they're
genuinely
great.
have so much love for those two. Like they are two of my favorite people on this planet. Like
Yeah, they're
not just because of the people they are. They're great creators. They're great friends. They're loyal. I love everything about them. Like they
I
deserve the
completely
world.
agree. I completely agree. They're amazing, and it's actually it's Rob that introduced you and I.
Yes, Rob hooked us up. He was like, "Hey, I met this dude named Sean. I think he'd be great for My First Horror Movie." I said, "Rob, if you recommend him, he's in." And I believe I texted you that night, like, "Hey, bro, I'd love to have you on the channel." You know,
Yeah,
it's just I feel like in this community we need to all work with each other. And I've never looked at subscriber counts or follower counts. If somebody's like, "Hey, you should work with this person," I'm like, "Send them my way."
yeah.
Like I want to meet good people that do things for the right reasons and have fun. And you were one of those guys to me. You love what you're doing. You're
Right.
passionate about it, and you seemed real. So I'm really glad we became friends. And
Yeah, me too.
I love working with you any chance I get.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so you don't miss any of the stuff I talked about that's coming up.
Hit the bell,
Uh,
baby.
hit the bell, like, subscribe, comment, let Ken and I know what you think about Child's Play 2. Follow me on social media, everything out there: Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X, Letterbox. I'm on all of it. So, yeah, follow me on social media, subscribe to the channel, go subscribe to Sledgehammer Horror. Thank you all again so much for watching. Ken, thank you again for coming on. And
Always.
yeah, we'll pick a date in the near future to talk Child's Play 3. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching. I will see you soon.